Hello again, it is me. I am here to walk you through a focus question ARC study protocol. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the name. The name aside, if you've already hopefully seen the module study protocol, you know kind of what this is. If you haven't seen the module study protocol, and if you haven't already walked through that process, now is the time to stop this video, go back and watch the module study protocol video, as well as do that so that you have a familiarity with your module and you already have a sense of what the first arc of module 1 is, which is what we're going to be working on today. So this is a digitized version of the focus question arc study protocol, so that you're able to type into it and then share it either with other people within your grade level team or with me or Miss Miller or whomever. And also just that you can continue to add to it throughout the arc as you need to refer back to it or want to add or change things. So as we talked about in the module study protocol, looking at these arcs ahead of time is important and valuable just so that you have a sense of where you and your students are going, why, what the important student learning outcomes are, what sort of activities students are going to do, what sort of preparation needs to be made in order for that to happen. And I recognize that this can just feel like another thing that has to be done, that feels like busy work, but I have already asked his permission, I guess a school year and a half ago, so I hope that stands. But I just wanted to share with you a completed one of these module study protocols briefly that I did with one of our middle school teachers at Waverly, who we sat down together and worked on this. And as we were talking through all of the questions, we really were able to have some interesting and good discussions about oh, well, actually one of my kids is interested in this, or they'd be good for this. And it really helped him get a sense of what was upcoming, and helped him get excited about it and also prepared for it, and also figure out ways to make sure that his students were going to be the best prepared and the most engaged in all of the lessons within this focus question arc once he got to it. So I'll kind of flip back and forth between this blank one, which is what you'll receive, and then the sample one from someone who was looking at a 6th grade curriculum. So again, you can read through the directions at your leisure, but these are just some quick copy and paste questions just to kind of get a baseline, what is the topic for your module, the essential question. Since it's the beginning of the module, the beginning of the year, we're going to look at focus question 1 for right now. So you'll just copy and paste it in there. And then also look at the number of lessons within your focus question arc. This can vary kind of widely, from K to 8. So look at actually how many lessons there are going to be within this first arc. And then think about the thing that you already started to take notes on within your module study protocol. How does this focus question support students' understanding and ability to answer the essential question? So as you'll see here, most of it is just copying and pasting, but this last question is where it's actually relying on you as a teacher to use some of your knowledge and your experience and your expertise. How do these two things connect to one another? After that, you'll write the number of core texts. Again, in the higher grades, you will probably have a lower number of core texts, but those of you who teach our younger students might have a number of core texts, and just having a sense of those ahead of time is important. Also, just to kind of plug and play how many supplemental texts. And then it's these two questions that are the ones that really ask you to do some time just reflecting and thinking about how does these core text or texts support and build the knowledge that students will need to be able to answer the focus question. And then the same thing with supplemental texts. And as you can see with this example, we went through and actually looked at each of the different, a sample text doesn't have to be writing, it can be imagery. Wit Wisdom is really great about including different types of text for students to interact with. So you might even, want to copy and paste each one and talk about how each one connects to the focus question. But it's those two questions that ask you to really use some of your professional expertise and think about these things ahead of time so that you have a clear picture moving forward of how each of these texts help students build their knowledge and their skills so that they can, answer the focus question and then eventually the essential question. What you'll do next is look at the content stages and craft stages, as well as the lesson learning goals within the ARC. So for this, you're just going to look at the lesson overview page for each of the lessons within the first focus question ARC. Again, the number of lessons could vary significantly. So what you'll see here is that we looked at those, and then like I was, recording as this teacher was just like, shouting out things that stood out to him, and you could kind of do it similarly. And then if you see words that are coming up over and over again, you could, this could kind of be however you want it to, but the aim is just to pull out whatever words or phrases, really capture the key skills in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, and language that students are going to develop as they move through focused question ARC number 1. Also important to do is to look at the major assessments that are going to happen in focus question ARC 1. This first part, again, just like a, copy and paste. You'll see here for this person in this 6th grade module, it was just one FQT. So you'll just, copy and paste that. And it is going to be beneficial for you to actually copy and paste the actual text of whatever the major assessment is, just so that you can easily refer back to it. Don't just say like FQT or EOM or whatever. And then again, this is the chance where it says knowledge and skills assessed. This is the place where you'll actually use some of your own expertise to think about, okay, so what within just this major assessment, what knowledge that students should have got and what skills are going to be assessed. This also might be a place to think about the standards tracker and how information gathered from that could be used, or what information you will get from this that you'll end up wanting to put into your standards tracker to make sure that you're thinking about student success and mastery of standards throughout the entire module. So this next part, I made a bunch of blanks because, as I said, the number of lessons can vary. You will very likely not have anywhere near this many lessons, but I just wanted to give you as many options, give you as many spaces as possible. And what you're going to do for this is read the prepare and analyze sections for each lesson. I'm even going to bold these because you really just need to look at these 2 sections in order to be able to do step 5. And you're going to answer, what is the major learning in each of the lessons, and how does each lesson build knowledge and skills? So this is all really your own thinking. And again, I recognize that this can feel maybe a little bit tedious at first, especially if you're someone who's taught these lessons before. But even if you have, refamiliarizing yourself with this, applying all of the learning that you've gained over the past years of teaching this curriculum is a really important and helpful way to make sure that you are super tuned in to what each of the lessons offers and why each of the lessons is an important building block towards the skills and knowledge that students should be building throughout the ARC. So just as a sample, this, I guess in this one, there were 8 lessons within the ARC, so we just left the rest of them blank. And a lot of this you'll see is just stuff that's copied and pasted from the prepare and analyze sections. This is just taken straight from the lesson. And then it's up to you as the teacher to, again, think about how does the major learning that's provided by Wit and Wisdom within the prepare and analyze section, how does that build the knowledge and skills that we looked at in step 4 up here when you looked at the major assessment that's going to happen within that focus question ARC protocol. So that is how you do a focus question ARC protocol. I wouldn't anticipate it taking more than maybe an hour or 90 minutes if you're just focused on it. This is something that I probably would have tried to do while also watching TV, and I would have been annoyed at how long it took and how meaningless it felt, because I would have not been actually thinking about all these things. I would have just been treating it like it was a compliance thing, and I get that. But I think that being able to go through this activity with this teacher really helped him get a better sense for himself of what each of these lesson pieces was meant to do and offer to students. And that in turn made him better able to help his students gain those knowledge and skills. So if this is something that you want to do with a thought partner, even if it's just like someone to like jot the notes down, you can, start with someone who is around you and see if they're willing to do it. Like you can help each other out, or you can feel free to reach out to me via email, and I'd be happy to, like screen share and jot things down for you as you're going through each of these steps. So I look forward to seeing how you guys are planning for ARC 1. And of course, as I said, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or need any clarification. Also, if I get explicit repeat permission, and if it seems like it would be something that would be helpful, I'd be glad to share that exemplar that we created a year and a half ago of an example of a focus question ARC study protocol. So many words. All right, thanks guys. I'll talk to you later.